Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Khleif, and I'm thrilled you're here. And I know you're going to get a tremendous amount of value from the dynamic gentleman that we're interviewing today. His name is Bruce Peterson, and in just the last few years, he's created a $70 million portfolio in the Texas area. He's from Austin, Texas, and we're going to dig into how he made that happen. Bruce, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So if you wouldn't mind, start with the beginning of your story. You know, nobody goes from 0 to 70 million overnight. Tell us how you got started in the real estate business and how you got to where you are.
All right. So, I'm an old retail guy and an old stockbroker from the 90s. And, I realized that it was time to move on. I was tired of working for somebody else. I lived way below my means for 15 to 20 years of my life. And, I just socked away all my money, made good investment decisions in the stock market. So I made a lot of money there. And I was able to walk away from corporate America, which was eating me alive. It really was. It was stealing my soul.
Wow.
So I got out of retail and had to kind of think about, okay, now that I'm a grown up, what do I want to do with my life?
Sure.
I thought, let me figure this thing out. So I dug into real estate, educated myself. And, it's the best thing I've ever done. But with my background, I had the skill set that I needed to convey into this because I've led people my whole life. I've been a supervisor, a manager, a leader of people. So it was a very easy fit for me. I did have to get myself educated, and that's fine. But what I did is I found a group of people that we developed a really strong bond with each other through a meetup that I started, really is what happened. And, from that meetup, it started, October, I believe it was, of 2011. And to this day, that thing is still going. And the email list has grown to about 400 or 500 people.
No kidding. And this is in the Austin area?
It is. It's in North Austin. We meet every other Wednesday, and we get about 30 to 50 of those people together any one week. But that's where my guys came from. People ask me all the time, how do I do what you did? How do I raise money? You just got to figure out a way to inject yourself into this system, into this real estate local system, and provide value to people. I did. I was sharing information. They were sharing information. They got to where they liked and trusted me, and they were willing to partner with me on my first deal with no experience.
So that's how you found the equity. That's fantastic. Yeah. In fact, those of you listening, I just started a Facebook group, Multifamily Investing. And we've like 8 weeks. The social media is fantastic. I've got 4,500 people on there already. And the reason I bring that up, because you mentioned a meetup group, and there are meetup groups forming inside of that Facebook group all over the country. I was in LA looking for a venue for my live event I've got coming up in April. And I met 5 guys there that met through this group that's only been around for 8 weeks. So, by the way, guys, if you're listening, it's multifamilycommunity.com. Definitely go check it out. Like I said, there's already 4,500 people there, and people are connecting all over the country. So back to your story. You formed this meetup group, and that's where you found a lot of equity investors for your deals. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You went right. You didn't do the traditional path from single family to duplexes to fourplexes. You jumped right in, right?
Correct. I had the money that I needed. I had all the time in the world. I'm now kind of quasi-retired at that point. So yeah, I realized early on that single family was going to be a lot more work than I wanted to put into it. And multifamily was a better way to scale and give myself the life that I truly, truly wanted, deserved, as cheesy as that might sound, and knew was there for me.
Okay. That's very unusual. I will say most people take that natural progression. And so you just went for it. So what was the size of your first deal?
First deal was 48 units in Austin, and it was 2012 when I closed, and we purchased it for about 1.625 million.
Nice. So tell us about that deal. How did it end up? Do you still own it? What happened with that property?
So no, we did sell it after 2 years and 4 months. We figured that going in the front door, it was a 5 to 7 year hold. And then the Austin market happened. It got really, really hot really quickly. So we took this property that we thought was a fully stabilized asset, would return 10 to 12% a year in cash flow. We would hold it for the 5 to 7 years, sell it, make a little bit of money on the back end, but it was more about the cash flow. So 2 years into this deal, I saw what was going on around us, and I thought, well, you know what? It might keep going for another 2 to 4, 5, 6 years. It might not. So why get greedy? We can sell and make a really large profit on this stabilized asset if we sell right now. So when we did sell after 2 years and 4 months, I gave a total return to my partners of 300%. And I
Wow.
gave them about an 8.5 to 9 year chunk of cash flow all at once.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
we sold and moved on to bigger and better things.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you mentioned that you had leadership experience in your past life in the retail world. In this real estate business, what do you think a leader in this business, what do you think are the most important qualities that leader should have?
Well, it's transparency. It is empathy, and just being able to understand what the other person's going through. And that goes for tenants too. Put yourself in their shoes.
Right.
What would you want if you worked for somebody else? What would you want if you lived in somebody else's place? So I think that's a big part of it, is being open-minded, listening to the smarter people in the room, and, having a lot of empathy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, you mentioned, let's talk about your superpower, your skill sets. I know you were a stockbroker at one time, which obviously has an incredible sales component. Do you think, and then of course you led people in the retail world. Tell me what traits that you learned in those two environments that you think helped translate into the real estate business, into the multifamily investing business, rather.
Right. So again, being a big box store manager for retail is what I was doing.
Okay.
And, I have to address the troops constantly. I'm always talking in front of a big group of people, 100, 150 people. I know everything that comes out of my mouth, people are going to, they're going to live and die by that to some degree. So I learned very quickly how to conduct myself, how to address the troops, and, did a lot of studying on that too, how to lead people effectively.
Okay.
So that was probably the biggest thing I got, and learning how to coexist with other people, knowing that they were looking to me for leadership and guidance.
Love it. Love it. Are there any tools or books that you could share with my listeners that have really helped you on your journey?
Well, I'll probably forget some of the names of them here, but The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh, awesome book. Stephen Covey.
Absolutely. Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh, that's awesome too.
Stuff. Yeah, very, very basic stuff. One of the best things that I read, though, was, I think it was 1,001 ways to incentivize your employees. And, I learned from that it's not about money. People want to be recognized and praised for a job well done. So that, believe it or not, was a huge book for me.
Yeah, I have that book as well, and you're absolutely right. It's not money. If you've got a team and you just take the time to sincerely praise them, you watch for the silliest little thing you can congratulate them for. In fact, I used to write it in my planner: praise one person a day. My team. I had a pretty large litigation support company at one time. Well, I still have it, but we were at 60 people. We're down to 40 now, and I would literally make it a point to speak to one of them every day and congratulate them or praise them about something. Find a reason, talk to their manager, their direct manager, and praise them. Love it. So, what markets do you love now? Are you still? I mean, Texas is so freaking hot. Austin, I think, is the epicenter of the hotness. So where are you looking now?
Well, right here in my backyard, still Austin,
okay.
San Antonio. I just closed a 484 unit 2-property portfolio, and one was in San Antonio, one was in Austin. So I'm still finding deals that I can source at 7 to 9% cash on cash returns. So we haven't found a need to branch out of Central Texas for now.
Okay. So tell me, if you could go back to the beginning of your start syndicating properties and going after these larger properties, what advice you might give yourself? What might you do differently?
Go as quickly and as large as you can reasonably. Don't be reckless. You're dealing with other people's money. They will make or lose money based on your efforts. So don't be reckless in any way, but go big. I was listening to Grant Cardone the other day, and he was talking about that too. Go as big as fast as you can, because it's easier. It is, honest to God, easier. It's more profitable. It's more rewarding, and you get to help more people. You get to provide income for more people. So I would definitely go bigger and faster.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So, everybody listening probably thinks, oh, this is so easy. There's no speed bumps. There's no hiccups. Tell us about some seminars. I don't call them failures. I call them seminars. Tell them about some seminars you've had, maybe a real doozy in this journey for the last 5 years.
Well, I've got two big ones. A lot of people
Okay.
know what I do and they find, oh, Bruce, I got to do that. They see the dollar signs, right?
Right.
So they're chasing dollars. But then I share a couple of stories with them. I was closing a property in San Antonio about a year and a half ago. And as we were the day of close, we wire 5.2 million bucks, right, to close the deal. Well, the entire day passes. They still didn't receive the wire, and everybody's flipping out, losing their mind. I'm like, look, I did it. I sent it. Here's all the documentation for it. Nobody knew where my wire was. My wire is gone, and it's not my money. It's my money and my investors' money.
Right.
I can't account for it. I don't know where it is. It's gone. Nobody could tell me where it is. So now I don't own a property because it didn't close. I don't have $5.2 million of somebody else's money, right? So finally, the president of the title company finally figured it out. Homeland Security, a division of Homeland Security called OFAC, they look at all wires that come through. And when it goes to the Fed, OFAC comes in and looks at it and compares all the names on this transaction and compares it to a database of known bad actors.
Wow.
The name of the property was the same name as a known drug cartel in Colombia. So they took my 5.2 million bucks, and they don't have a nice little a customer service department to say, Dear Mr. Peterson, well, this is where your money is, and this is why. Nobody knows what's going on. So that caused a little bit of stress. And then the other one was about
how long? I'm sorry, I got to stop you. How long did it take to clear that up?
Well, it took.
I'm sure it felt like months, but I mean, how long?
Actually, it did. Well, it did feel like months, but it was only a few hours.
Right.
The
Okay.
was issued at 9 o'clock in the morning. We found out about 5:30 in the evening, but by this time we're already gone.
Right.
The day is done. It's a Friday, so we have to close that following Monday. But yeah, it was a little consternation.
Oh hell! Oh, good God! Yeah. Okay.
So now I got to come home that day, sit in my home office, and type up a letter saying, "Hey, guess what? We don't own anything, and I don't know where the hell your money is."
Wow.
Yeah,
that's scary. That's scary. Well, at least it ended up okay. So what's the next one?
The next one, it's bad for a different reason, but I got a phone call and a text one morning about 3 to 6 months ago, and my lead maintenance guy on a 200-unit property sends me an email and a text. Well, the text comes across with a picture.
Okay.
There's a gentleman that lived on the property that had decided to go swimming in the pool at 4 o'clock in the morning, intoxicated, blasted out of his mind. He didn't make it back out of the pool. So he's on the bottom of the pool looking straight up, rigor mortis, the whole thing, with his eyes wide open.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not always rainbows and lollipops. It's still the best thing I've ever done, the most profitable thing, the most rewarding thing. There are things that are going to happen no matter how well you prepare, how much you study. You get out there, you're going to get, your mouth bloodied a few times, and you just got to make it through it. Just keep your head down and keep going. It's going to work itself out. It's just challenging sometimes.
Oh yeah. You've got to know what you want and why you want it, because if you don't, you're going to get knocked out instead of knocked down. When you get knocked down, you can get back up. But yeah, no, I get it. So let me ask you this. What comes first, finding the deal or finding the money?
Finding the deal, because I've got money on the sidelines. I've got pent up demand, basically. Okay. The capital is usually pretty easy because we've got a track record now, right? Now, It wasn't like that at the beginning. We've proven ourselves over many years, many deals. So for the most part, I'll go find the deal. Then once I get an accepted LOI, we will then draw up all the legal docs, get that out to the people that have expressed interest. And usually 50% of the people that initially express interest will still stick with us through the close. So
50%. Wow. Yeah, that's good to know, guys. Remember that you always overcommit. I mean, basically, you just lost 50%. So what fundamentals do you look for when you look at a deal?
I'm looking for a good, robust market, and that's really easy where I am right now.
Sure.
I'm not testing myself there much anymore, but I'm looking for a net inflow of people. I'm looking for hopefully a changing dynamic in the workforce. If it's an older workforce, San Antonio is going through a big tech boom right now. They're drawing in a lot of tech. A lot of young people are moving to the city. So we're looking for that. For the most part, I'm buying stabilized assets right now. So I'm just looking for a 7 to 9% return to my investors. I'm primarily looking at B plus properties now, because
Okay.
I can source the same return from a B plus property that I can from a C minus property. Well, why do I want to screw with the C minus property if this much nicer property with less risk is going to pay out the same? So
Right. Right. So what would you say is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Just do it. When I
Just do it.
first started doing this, to steal a cheesy Michael Jordan Nike line, when I first started doing this, I thought I was going to go in and buy single family homes, buy 4 of them, pay them all off and live off that cash flow for the rest of my life. Then I got around people that were bigger brained than me, right? I had to level my thinking up, and I learned that no, I'm thinking way, way, way too small. I got to go bigger, and I just got to get out there and do it. I told the guy that was kind of giving me some advice that, look, I don't know how to do this. Well, you know what? It's easier than single family. You have the skill set in your prior life. Get out there and do it. And so that's the big thing. Just get out there and do it.
What did you have to give up or sacrifice to get where you are today?
That's hard to say, because the career I had before this in retail, I was working 90 to 110-hour weeks for somebody else. So the thing that I had to give up, I guess, is a little bit of security, right? I had to, a lot of my friends, what are you doing quitting? Well, what about insurance? Holy crap, I can get my own insurance.
So you quit before you took down the first one?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long of a period in between that, take this job and shove it, and you got your first property?
About 2.5 years.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Again, I did well for myself, so I had,
right. You had a cushion, right?
Yeah, okay. I did. So I gave up some of the certainty, but what the certainty was doing was killing me, because the certainty meant I worked for somebody else, and I was physically nauseated every day I went to work, and I just realized it's not worth this. It is not worth it. So I like the responsibility of everybody's return riding on my shoulders, and knowing that there might be another dead guy. I'm okay with that. I know how to deal with it, handle it. So the one thing I guess I did sacrifice was I guess the safety of getting a paycheck from somebody else. Sure.
Now, those of you listening, please do not quit your jobs and then go buy properties. Okay. This gentleman is an anomaly, and he saved money for 18 years. Okay. Yep. So unless you've got that kind of a nest egg, don't do it. You can do this on the side. I've interviewed enough people that have built multi-million-dollar portfolios on the side. So please take that advice. Many people ask me, should I quit my job? And I always say no, not until, unless you've got the cushion. If you've got a big enough cushion, and it should be a damn big one. So what inspires you, buddy?
Giving back, honestly. We won the 2016 Independent Rental Owner of the Year for the entire nation with the Apartment Association. But what got us that, for the most part, is we like to create community everywhere we buy. So we have a property that 120 units, very working class neighborhood in Austin. These people have a hard time providing for themselves day to day. So what we did on that 120 unit property, we had 83 students, middle school and below. So we went out to each and every school that these kids were going to go to by grade and got the list of school supplies needed. So what we did then is we went and got a backpack, 83 different backpacks, boy and girl. They got to come through, pick out their backpack, and then they went from the room that they were getting the backpack from to the other room where my 21-year-old autistic daughter is standing there. I won't cry if I'm not careful. She asks what grade they're in, and she hands them the bag for that grade. And they get this, they load up their backpack, they walk out, and the biggest smile you've ever seen on these children's faces, they now have school supplies that they otherwise wouldn't have had.
Oh,
that's
brother.
The good stuff. We make money, but it's that stuff that really gets you going.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, and I don't want to steal your thunder. That is unbelievable, and it's fantastic. And it's dear to my heart because we do the exact same thing. I've done thousands of backpacks filled with school supplies with my foundation. And so my hat's off to you, my friend. I don't meet people that do things at that level very often. And so my hat's off to you. In fact, this Saturday, We're doing, I think, about 1,500 baskets filled with food to the local children here. I've fed now 55,000 children over the last 18 years. But we've done backpacks just like that. It's just so amazing when they come and you can hand a child a backpack that wouldn't have one filled with school supplies. I mean, and then, we also do teddy bears that we give to the local police departments for the officers to keep in their cars when they encounter a child. Cool. We've done thousands of those, but my hat's off to you, my friend. That is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So, wow, you stumped me there because that really moved me. That's so awesome that you did that. And congratulations on national award. I mean, that's huge. That was the Apartment Association, National Apartment Association?
Yep, it was. Yep.
Wow, that's fantastic. So what last little bit of advice would you give? Actually, you know what? I don't want to go there yet. Let's talk about due diligence for a minute. Tell us how you go about your due diligence. Do you use third-party management? I think you mentioned you have your own management now, right? You're managing yourself?
Right. So there's no due diligence on that part because we do have our own management company. We have our own asset manager, management company, construction company. So due diligence on the deal, I underwrite everything, and I get with my mortgage brokers, my DUS lenders. But as far as like the on-site, the physical asset, what I like to do, and it's really rewarding for our investors, we open it up to the investors. Who wants to come look at the property with us and help us inspect units? Unit by unit by unit.
Love it. What a great idea.
Yeah, the subsystems, the major systems, the roofing, the pest control, the foundation. Of course, we have professionals come in for that. Camera all the lines, make sure we're looking good there. But yeah, we like to have as many of our investors as will participate with us come out and, share in this process with us. It's a way for them to learn, and they're more likely to follow us.
Sure. No question. That's a great idea. Those of you listening, that is a fantastic idea. So, all right, so let's go to the last question. What bit of advice would you give an aspiring investor that hasn't taken action yet, that knows they want this, knows they want more, knows they want out of the rat race? What words of wisdom would you share with them?
Okay, so the first thing I'd say, get out of your own head, get out of your own way. People sabotage themselves all the time. You are usually your worst enemy. Get out of your own way. You got to get yourself educated, but then education without action is worthless. Level yourself up. Don't get rid of friends. Keep them as friends. But when you're talking about your professional life now, you have to level yourself up. Surround yourself with people that have what you're trying to accomplish and just emulate them. You are the sum average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? If you walk into a room on a professional endeavor, if you walk into a room and you're the smartest guy in the room, get the hell out of the room. Find a room where you're the stupid guy. Learn from others. But then once you learn and surround yourself with like-minded people, when you find a deal that makes sense, you gotta go. There's never gonna be a perfect deal. Don't over contingency everything if you are an engineer type. If you are, you got to figure a way past that. Don't get into the analysis paralysis thing. You have to assess it, trust your abilities, and just go.
Fantastic advice. In fact, I'm doing a live event. It's sold out in Tampa here in January, and I'm spending a good amount of time on taking action, on pushing past limiting beliefs, on peer group, on, and addressing, the analytical guys in the crowd to either get past that and get uncomfortable or align themselves with an outgoing personality like yours. It's one or the other, and there's been some fantastic matchups between, the analytical personality and the outgoing personality. Those are sometimes matches made in heaven. You're supplementing, each other's deficiencies, but otherwise, at the very least, you got to get uncomfortable and push yourself and take action. Get out of your head. Fantastic advice, my friend. Well, you've added a ton of value today. And how do people get a hold of you?
My website, apt-guy. So it's apartmentguide.com.
Okay. Fantastic.
I just drew a blank there. You can get me at Bruce at apt-guy.com also.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay. Well, thanks for adding value, my friend. And I'm really excited to see where you're at a year from now, at the trajectory that you've already accomplished in the short amount of time. So appreciate having you on the show, my friend.
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You bet. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, And then take a moment to visit iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and review. For more resources to connect with us further, please visit our website at lifetimecashflowpodcast.com. Tune in next week for our next show.